Well, we left on October 4th in this wonderful new RV, our Seeker, in luxury. Oh, there's so much space. I'll tell you more about that later. We cut across Michigan and across the bridges into Canada and found ourselves in Upper New York State. We were on a color tour, so we took both cats and we found ourselves wandering around in the forest and eventually wound up in this wonderful state park called Watkins Glen, full of waterfalls. Just a few miles away was the Corning Glass Museum, world famous for its art and its complexity. It was a day's adventure. That was sensational, but you know what we're really after were the colors. Elizabeth Furnace National Forest was a place that was wonderful, and as we traveled south we ended up in a national treasure, Gettysburg. There's not much you can say about Gettysburg really, you just have to see it. The destruction, the carnage, the impact on our nation is just unbelievable. And if you've never been there, you should go see it. There were many battles, but the battle for Little Round Top was the most significant and changed the course of the war. It was an emotional experience I can't describe. I felt like I had been there. We had another historical treat, Monticello, the home of President Jefferson, second president of the United States. He was a genius. Governor of Virginia during the war. He was a scholar, he was a scientist, a herpetologist, a biblical scholar, a literary genius, founded a university, and much, much more. While there was an impersonator who spoke for Jefferson. It happened to be No King's Day, and he talked about the importance of the population being educated, aware, and voting wisely. This impersonator was so good, we came back a second time to hear him talk about the genius of this man who helped with others to weave together Locke and Voltaire and other thinkers of the time in a great experiment to see if we could really govern ourselves and achieve and maintain our freedom. We began working our way southwest and found a lot of wonderful places to stay. COE campgrounds, some on the river like this dam and some not. It was a wonderful place. We really enjoyed it. And as we were walking through the woods, all of a sudden, Stacy let out this enormous scream. What did she see? Oh my God, it was the devil in disguise. Okay, maybe they weren't quite that big, but it was still scary. We needed some relaxing time and found some nice places to stay in this luxury. Speaking of luxury, look at this. Time to head south and west towards Texas. First, a visit to Aunt Kathy, my father's youngest sister. She's 92, lives in her own home, drives her car, and has a fantastic mind. She's a hoot. Meow Wolf is an immersive art experience. It's fantastic. We had been to the one in Santa Fe, in Las Vegas, and Denver, and there were two in Texas we just had to see. It's a giant three-dimensional puzzle with each room different and weird and strange and all moving to try to solve this intricate puzzle. It's a hoot and we loved it. We finally made it to Arizona and stumbled on the Mescal movie set. It's a Western set that has featured over 100 movies, famous ones like Tombstone and The Quick and the Dead and others as well. We took a tour and listened to all of the stories about the famous actors who had been there. Listen to this guy talk a little bit.
Who recognizes this location? Nobody? Okay, when you watch Quick and the Dead again, you'll appreciate it more. Just like Roy Bean's house for the Jersey Lily for Roy Bean, this becomes a character into itself in Quick and the Dead. The vast majority of the story is going to be told in this room, on the porch, or right out here in the street when they're having the gunfight competition. There's going to be one key scene early on when there's a blackboard up here and the bartender's up here putting all the names of the contestants on the board. Sharon Stone and DiCaprio are going to be sitting over here by the middle window. Right behind where Ed is, actually, is where Gene Hackman will be sitting. And then Russell Crowe's character is going to get introduced when he gets pushed through the doors. They put him on a chair and put a noose around his neck and try to intimidate him to be part of the gunfight competition.
Well, that's the first part of our trip. Let me show you where we've been. We started moving across Michigan, through Canada, and into Upper New York, where we found Watkins Glen State Park and the Corning Museum, and then followed the colors down all the way to Charlotte, where Monticello is. That's Jefferson's home. From there, we decided it was time to start heading west, and we moved down through Virginia into Tennessee, and then down through Tennessee, where we spent some time in Oak Ridge. That's where plutonium was made for World War II. To Aunt Kathy's and the Meow facilities in both places, Houston and Dallas, and down the coast. And after the coast, we head across West Texas, which is nothing to see. I mean, there is nothing there. But we did finish through New Mexico and finally Arizona. Benson, Arizona, actually, where the Mescal movie set was, and it's the end of November. We're ready for more.
I'm ready for